if you stay grounded, the people that are around you will stay grounded as well. And I'm a firm believer that your energy, and people talk about your vibe. I think that your energy when you walk into a room is absorbed by people around you. And if that energy is not so great, it can lead to not so great things.
Paging Dr. Cook. Paging Dr. Cook. Dr. Cook, you're wanted in the OR. Dr. Cook, you're wanted in the OR.
Welcome to the Prescription for Success podcast with your host, Dr. Randy Cook.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Prescription for Success. I'm Dr. Randy Cook, your host for the podcast, which is a production of MD Coaches, providing leadership and executive coaching for physicians by physicians to overcome burnout, transition your career, develop as a leader, or whatever your goal might be. Visit MD Coaches on the web at mymdcoaches.com because you're not in this alone. We have a very interesting guest today who is not a physician, but he provides a very important service for physicians. I think a lot of people are a little surprised to learn that sometimes it can be a little bit of a challenge for physicians, not necessarily to find a job, but to find a job that is the right fit, if you will. And that is precisely the type of expertise that today's guest brings to the table. So let's hear my conversation with Mr. Charles Lowry, Director of Provider Engagement for PracticeLink. Really looking forward to my conversation today with Mr. Charles Lowry. Sort of a rare privilege for us to have somebody with us who is not a physician. So, Charles, welcome to Prescription for Success. I'm looking forward to the conversation.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it, and I'm looking forward to it as well.
So, as I actually mentioned in my introduction, it's kind of unusual for us to be speaking to a non-physician, but I'm particularly looking forward to talking to you and about your relationship with physicians. I always enjoy getting that perspective from someone who sees things from a different point of view. But as we always do, I want to begin your story with the beginning. I'm wondering about your early life. Are you a West Virginia native? Is this where you did your growing up?
Yes. So I was born in a little small town in southern West Virginia called Hinton, which is now the southern gateway to the newest national park in the country,
Really?
to New River Gorge National Park. We are home to a little place called Sandstone Falls. It's on your national park map. But yeah, I grew up there, actually went to elementary school. There were only 6 kids in my class. That's how rural it was. Yep. I left West Virginia when I graduated from high school and went to Berea College down in Berea, Kentucky, just south of Lexington.
And your parents, what kind of work did they do?
So my dad was a farmer, and my mom was actually a housewife.
Wow.
They were way ahead of their time, and always am grateful for being raised the way that I was. They looked at things way back when, like, what is in your food? Are you aware of what you're eating? If you grow your own food, if you preserve your own food, you know exactly what's going into your body. Things like that, long before people really started looking at things like that.
I was about to say they were ahead of their time.
Very progressive, yeah. And so we grew a lot of food. We preserved food. We actually butchered, our own beef and hogs, things like that. We had fresh eggs, and so I think growing up very rural like that was a privilege. It was a true privilege, and it set me on the right path for sustaining a good lifestyle.
Well, that leads me to my next question. Why in the world do you think you made the decision to leave that bucolic life for what you're doing?
Well, so actually I haven't. So I've done a lot in my career and in my education, and my parents have passed. And I have moved back to the farm. I grow enough food to feed a village of people, and I still preserve my own food. I don't really eat meat, but I still grow the vegetables, and pretty much most of my food comes from the farm.
Wow, that is really cool.
Yeah.
Well, then let's reset the clock again. So it sounds like you were very attached to the rural lifestyle, but yet you decided to go out and get a liberal arts education at Berea College. How did that come about?
One of my older sisters went to Berea. Thank goodness. She opened the door for me. I had never heard of it. And for those who don't know about Berea College, it's a very rare place for sure. It's a small school with only 1,500 students, but each student pays zero tuition, and in return, they work 20 hours a week on campus. So most of the campus is actually run by students. If you go down to Berea, you'll see students mowing the grass. You may see students in the cafeteria or in the business office, or any job like that is going to be held by students. And
wow,
incredible place that created this whole change in thinking for me, and from day one. And I owe them a world of gratitude always. And I will always be very proud of being a Berea graduate. Yeah.
What a unique experience for you. And from there, you went on to Charleston to get a master's degree in strategic leadership. What was on your mind at that point? What did you see as your future?
At that point, really, I was already working in the higher education field, working for a university as a director. And I worked a lot with international students. At that time, that was my focus. And again, that was a Berea thing. My first week at Berea, I was surrounded by students from all over the globe. And I was just fascinated. I wanted to know everything I could about every culture and food and languages and whatever I could. And so I think that's where I was when I pursued my master's, and it led me to a great career working with international students for a while.
Well, I guess after graduation, your first employment location was at Mountain State University. Is that right?
Yes.
In Beckley, West Virginia, Director of International Student Services. Did you pick that, or were you recruited specifically for that purpose?
It was more recruited. I think the VP that was over that department reached out to me. And a few years before that, they had asked me if I would be a designated school official, which basically is a backup person for if the international director is not there to sign for someone to travel or to help the international students for whatever they needed. In the absence of the director. So I did that for a while, and then it was just a natural progression. I think the VP reached out and said, "Hey, would you be interested in being director?" And it was a great position, working with hundreds and hundreds of kids from all over the world. And it was everything from admissions, bringing them in, and scheduling orientation with the community of folks like banks and police and whatever community resources they needed, helping them out with how to shop in the United States, how to navigate Walmart, just things that we take for granted every day that were just completely something that had never been on their radar before.
We'll get back to our interview in just a moment, but right now I have a message for you from our friends at PracticeLink. If you're a physician considering your next career move, whether you're finishing training, relocating, or just ready for something new, make PracticeLink your first stop. PracticeLink is the leading physician job board with tens of thousands of opportunities across every specialty and in every corner of the country. You can search by specialty, location, employer type, and more, so finding the right fit is faster and easier. But PracticeLink offers more than just job listings. Our free resource center is designed specifically for physicians, and it includes expert tips on CV writing, contract negotiation, interview prep, and managing your job search with confidence. Best of all, everything is completely free for physicians. So visit PracticeLink.com today to explore jobs, connect with employers, and access career resources made just for you. I'd like to share a message from Navigate. You know, after spending years in the financial sector, Navigate has met lots of clients with all kinds of student loan issues. They were confused, they were overwhelmed by the doublespeak and the overly complex forms, and especially the deliberately misleading statements from loan servicer representatives. Navigate recognized the chaos in the student loan industry and immediately brought clarity and real solutions. If you'd like to flip the script on student debt, visit www.flipthescript.loan/MD-coaches to schedule a call with Navigate. They'll tailor a plan specifically for your unique situation and work with you until the loan is paid off. What do you have to lose besides the stress of student loan debt? Can you talk a little bit about ways that you might have been changed personally because of your experience?
I mean, of course, yes. It really puts a lot of things into perspective. Growing up in rural Appalachia, it wasn't always easy. You know, things weren't there at your fingertips. And so, you know, I thought, well, I grew up in a very rural background. But then when I met kids who had no electricity, who had no running water, no stove to cook on, you know, it really puts things in perspective. When you consider they grew up with that, they excelled academically, made it to the United States, earned a bachelor's degree, and so many of them went on to earn a master's or a doctorate degree. That's something I will always hold in my heart. When I think back on some of those kids who came here with absolutely nothing at all, a few dollars in their pockets, it's inspiring to me. You know, I look up to them, and I feel very honored really to have been in that role and to be able to help them on their journey. And a lot of them did go home, and, you know, that was the goal, is bring them here, let them get their education, go home and better their communities. And so that's been an incredible experience, and staying in touch with a lot of those graduates has just been amazing as well. I get to watch them on social media and see where all they're going and what all they're doing, and they're changing the world. So I love it. It was a great experience for sure.
They all have an incredible story, do they not?
They do. Everyone has an incredible story.
We've been blessed to have, I don't know, a half dozen or so of people who grew up in foreign nations and just conditions that I can't imagine surviving in, much less thriving, and yet they have such determination, and they just get the job done, right?
Such determination. And you know, like one little personal story was I met a student who came in from Nepal, and he told me his story. He lived in a very rural area of Nepal. And so when he was a young kid, probably 12 or so, His family actually sent him to the city, to Kathmandu, to work for a couple as kind of like a house servant. He cooked, he cleaned, he did whatever they needed done in their house. In return, they paid for his education in the city. And once he finished his education there, he applied and came into the U.S. And that was when I first met him. And the following year, his little brother applied. And I remember when his little brother got to the country to go to the same university, the two of them hugging because they hadn't seen each other for years, just because that was just their normal life. If they wanted to move on and get a degree in the U.S., they had to sacrifice, and their parents knew that, and it was whatever it took to make it happen. They did it.
Sounds like a really powerful experience for you.
Yes.
But then the next move came along, and you decided to get involved in my area, and that is medical practice at the West Virginia School of Osteopathic Medicine. How did that come about?
Really, I knew someone years ago, and they contacted me, and they said, there's a great role for you at WVSOM, and I would love to kind of talk to you about it and see what you think about it. And we met and discussed it a little bit, and I applied for the job, and just an incredible place. WVSOM they have 800 medical students, and
really?
Yeah, 200 per class.
It was that big.
Yeah, 200 per class. And so what they do with their students in clinical years in third and fourth year is they divide it up into 7 different regions of the state and surrounding states. And each of those 7 regions has a dean and a director. And you're basically the campus for those medical students in their third and fourth years. You're set up in different hospitals where they rotate, and they come to you for anything that they may need. And you track them through their third year and fourth year, make sure that they're ready to finish and graduate, and that they've achieved everything they need. Incredible job, incredible place to work. WVSOM is a true gem in West Virginia. Beautiful little town of Lewisburg. It's like a little village that was picked up in Vermont or somewhere and relocated into West Virginia. Just a beautiful place.
And if you can give us just a little bit more detail, what exactly was your particular role?
So I served as statewide campus director and worked with third and fourth year students, and had probably 60 or so students, I would say, rotating throughout the hospitals in my region. Yeah, it was everything. It was scheduling didactics and speakers, and just making sure students participated in morning reports and everything. It was pretty much anything a student needed in third or fourth year. Other than financial aid, we would provide that for them.
Hi, I'm Rhonda Crow, founder and CEO for MD Coaches. Here on RX for Success, we interview a lot of great medical professionals on how they grew their careers, how they overcame challenges, and how they handle day-to-day work. I really hope you're getting a lot of great information. But if you're looking for an answer to a specific problem, management or administration challenge, or if you're feeling just a bit burnt out, like maybe you chose the wrong career, well, then there's a faster way to get the help you need. No, it's not counseling, it's coaching. RX for Success is produced by MD Coaches, a team of physicians who have been where you are. I know you're used to going it alone, but you don't have to. Get the support you need today. Visit us at mymdcoaches.com to schedule your complimentary consultation. Again, that's mymdcoaches.com, because you're not in this alone.
We'll get back to our conversation in just a moment, but first, I want to mention a sponsor who has been with us almost since our beginning. Physician Outlook is a splendid publication created for physicians by physicians. Originally a print and online magazine, it's now a dynamic digital-only platform using storytelling, humor, and community building to help physicians and surgeons reconnect with the art of medicine. Physician Outlook celebrates the entire healthcare team, including nurses, nurse practitioners, and PAs who value physician-led care. As artificial intelligence and corporate overreach threatens the human connection, Physician Outlook remains committed to the sacred physician-patient relationship. Beyond storytelling, Physician Outlook takes action on causes that matter. So join the movement, connect, laugh, be inspired. Visit physicianoutlook.com today. And now let's get back to our interview. You had a really profound background, I think, to move into this territory that you're very closely involved in now, and that is PracticeLink. So
Yes.
I think rather than try to interrogate you here at the beginning, I'm going to let you tell us what you'd like us to know about PracticeLink.
Sure. Yep. So it's a very small world. The CEO of PracticeLink is an incredible guy who happens to be from the same little tiny town that I'm from. We did not know each other.
That's quite a coincidence.
Right? Yeah. We had mutual connections, I think, on LinkedIn. But when they decided to start a GME outreach at PracticeLink, someone brought my name up and it kind of moved forward and they told me they wanted to get this off the ground. And so we've been doing it for 2 years now with GME relations across the country. So I came into PracticeLink and just started working with residency programs and residents, program coordinators, program directors across the country to let them know a little bit about PracticeLink. PracticeLink is an online job board. We are a career resource for residents, fellows, medical students in so many ways. And the best part is we do not charge a fee. We're a free service. So everything I do for residents, students, and fellows, it's a free service. So a little bit about what I do specifically is I do host lunch and learn sessions with residencies, whether virtual or in person. We often can bring in some of our partners, such as financial planning or onboarding or financial aid experts, things like that, that will benefit the residents and fellows. And of course, we have a GME podcast called Surviving and Thriving in Residency. And the goal of that podcast is to help anybody on their journey to become a physician in avoiding mistakes that others may have made. It's very candid conversations about if they could go back and change things, what would they change or what would they focus on more or less in their medical training. We offer scholarships. We just gave away 9 $2,500 scholarships to folks throughout the country, medical students, residents, and APPs. And just a lot of CV reviews. We do CV workshops. It's a lot of just great resources that we hope kind of fill the gaps in their educational training or enhance things that maybe they've been exposed to, but maybe have more in-depth questions on.
Mm-hmm.
So,
well, I guess I'm going to have to go to what kind of feels like the obvious question for me, and that is that if there is no fee for the consumers, where does the revenue come from to keep this thing alive?
Sure. So we partner with healthcare groups across the country, large, small, and we have been in the business for a very long time, over 30 years. And so we are a trusted, it works. It definitely works. So we're a trusted partner. So if a healthcare organization has positions open, they will put those on our job board. And so that's where the revenue will come in. But they put those on our job board because they know we have quality candidates who will apply for those jobs.
So you can be involved in this really incredibly useful service for these young professionals, and yet continue to maintain a really comfortable lifestyle in your own rural environment on the farm. You got to feel like you have really, as a guy from Kentucky used to say to me, looks like you fell into a tub of butter.
It's true, yes, but I travel quite a bit. There's a lot of travel to national conferences, and then traveling to residency programs and different events throughout the year. But it's always the greatest to come home and unwind. And after a few days of being home on the farm, I'm ready to get back out there again. I think the other part of it too, for me, is I love connecting with the students and the residents and the fellows. And again, it's one of those things where I follow them throughout their career, and I'm just so proud of so many of them on what they accomplish, and just to be a little piece of that journey. If I can help them find the right fit in their first practice right off the bat, where they're going to stay and be happy and thrive, then, I feel successful.
I can see that would be really, really gratifying for you.
Yes.
What a story. And I really have enjoyed hearing about this. I've never heard of anything quite like this. So congratulations for the people who put it together, and congratulations to you to finding your way to be connected with them. That's really very, very, very impressive.
It's a very small world. And when I talk to the CEO, and sometimes he'll introduce me at an event or what have you, and he will say, Charlie was in our own backyard. And we didn't, we just didn't know. We were running the same circles and doing similar things, really. I was working with a lot of residents when I was at the medical school, as well as students. We were a feeder program for a lot of residency programs. So I worked with a lot of residents. So it was just a natural progression. I'm very, very, very happy to be a part of PracticeLink. I can't say enough great things about PracticeLink, and the company itself is amazing.
Well, Charlie, I really enjoyed hearing your story, and I thank you so much for taking the time to share it with us.
Sure.
What I want to do at this point is what I think we all come for, and that is give you an opportunity to speak on your own. So I'm going to close my mic, and audience, Mr. Charles Lowry is going to share his personal prescriptions for success.
So I think one of the first things for me, as far as a prescription for success, is always being present, always being calm, being level-headed, and being trustworthy. And that isn't something that happens overnight. That's something that you work on every day and you build. For me, being very calm and level-headed and being able to not react immediately is just a natural thing. But I think that if you stay grounded, the people that are around you will stay grounded as well. And I'm a firm believer that your energy, and people talk about your vibe. I think that your energy when you walk into a room is absorbed by people around you. And if that energy is not so great, it can lead to not so great things. And so I think that would be huge for me, staying grounded, staying calm, always being present, and being trustworthy. I also truly do believe that it's not a straight line to be successful. Upward doesn't always mean forward. And I think that that plays a part in my background. There may be roles that I accepted and moved into, not so much because it moved me upward, but because they were a good fit for me. And they may not look like it on paper, that they were a great next step, but for me personally, they were. So I think keeping that in mind is a great thing. And I also think that your biggest enemy, and I tell students this, I tell residents this, I tell my coworkers, my friends this, your biggest enemy is yourself most of the time. So I think you you need to always keep that in the back of your mind. You're your biggest critic, 100%. So I think believe in yourself, take your time, and don't be so hard on yourself. That would probably be my prescription for success.
Well, that is a whole lot of wisdom in a very short time span there. And it's been said that, you're speaking to a wise person who can be economical with the words. I thank you for sharing with us, and I appreciate you being here with us. Before we go, I want to give you an opportunity to tell our audience where they can find you and hear the podcast and learn more about you if they'd like to. So,
sure, of course. Yeah. So anyone can reach out to me. My email address is charles.lowry, Lowry, at PracticeLink.com. Be sure to visit PracticeLink.com. The Surviving and Thriving podcast is all over our website. We also have another podcast hosted by Christy Bray, which is listed on there, and it's a great podcast as well. If you'd like to check that out, and reach out if you are a program director, if you're a program coordinator. We can schedule a lunch and learn, or we can discuss that. Or if you're a resident, a student, or a fellow, and you would like to take advantage of free CV reviews, or if you'd like more information on our scholarships, or if you'd like to be on the podcast and talk about your journey into medicine, just shoot me an email.
Mr. Charlie Lowry, thank you so much for being with us today on Prescriptions for Success.
Absolutely. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much for listening today. If you enjoyed the show, please help us reach more listeners by leaving a rating and a review, especially on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. And if your app doesn't have that option, just leave us an email or a voicemail through SpeakPipe at www.mymdcoaches.com/podcast. You can also help by becoming a Patreon member. That link is in the show notes. And we also hope you'll follow our companion podcast, Life-Changing Moments, with Dr. Dale Waxman. Special thanks to our producer, Craig Clausen, our promotions manager, Mariana Rodabaugh, and to Ryan Jones, who created and performs our theme music. And remember, be sure to fill your prescription for success with my next episode.